Okay, what we have here is a cheap $23, that's including shipping, Goldwing GL1800 antenna, direct from eBay. I bought it knowing that it was probably screwed up. I only wanted the bottom part of it, I only wanted the base, because my ultimate goal is to modify it for a UHF type adapter for ham radio. So this is an experiment to see how it rings out, to give people information as far as what it should measure, what it shouldn't measure. So the very first thing I'm going to do is measure to see if it has continuity between ground and the center pin and all that stuff. So we're going to just measure and see if the coax center pin to coax ground are isolated. Checking the meter has continuity. There you go. And checking the pin, center pin to ground, shows an open, OL is open, and it should be open. They should not have any resistance there. So center pin to the thread should have continuity, makes sense. A little bit of crud there. Push harder and blink, 0.8, there you go, there's a flash. It works, it has continuity. So the next test is to check the ground of the connector to the vertical shaft. And it's open. It should not be open. There should be a similar reading of 0.6, 0.8, whatever it was. It should show continuity. There's a defect there. Where the defect is, it could be anywhere. So real quick, just for grins and giggles, I'm going to measure the ground of the coax connector to the frame. And yep, it's still open. And I don't know why I did it, but I kept screwing around with this. I'm going to hear the tone. Okay, fine, get tone. I'll check it under beep, and still it's open. No matter what way I test it, it's open, and I can't change that. But for whatever reason, I kept trying to test it, and I'm sorry I'm giving people the finger there. It wasn't intentional, trust me. Did I mean to, but it just happened. Um, Double checking and making sure that there's no chance I'm doing something foolish. Nope, nope, it's still open. No matter what I do, it is open. One last check, center pin to stud again, under tone, and I got a beep. So that's good. Um, Next part is to try to disassemble the thing, and that's pretty simple. You just pull the rubber grommet thingy off of it, move the plastic spiral crap out of the way. That protects the really, really poor coax. I mean, that coax may be lucky if it's a 75% ground coverage or 75% braid. So there are two Allen set screws that go between the shaft and between the frame and the shaft. Those set screws are just there to keep the shaft in the frame. So lefty-loosey, turn the Allen key, the top and the next one down, and that should loosen up the shaft. It's only in there by a friction fit and those Allen set screws. There's nothing else holding it in other than a lot of pressure from some guy in China. And try as I might, I can't get that bad boy to come wiggle out of there. So the next thing is, maybe I didn't loosen it up enough, so I'm going to loosen it up more. It's not going to help. It's just not going to move. So um, just loosen lefty-loosey again, and I've backed that puppy up far enough, and it's not going to work. Now those two little Phillips head screws that are in there, right there, their job is simply hold the plastic on, right there, that guy. That's all. So taking the plastic screws off will allow the outer shell of the chrome plastic cover to be slid off, and it'll leave the chrome collar on the vertical shaft. And in a few seconds, that'll fall apart. Get the screws out. That's one. There's two. Oh, yes, that's right. There are two little plastic tits in there that have to be pried over the frame. I use plastic gizmos from car installations to just pop the plastic beyond those tits, and the whole plastic thing will slide right off. Notice the collar stays on it, and there's your cover. The collar will slide up and away. Now you got the meat and potatoes of the mount, and okay, now a little bit of muscle and try to pull them apart again. And they're not going to come out, trust me. They didn't. I gave up. So instead of I tried wiggling, I tried threading, I tried a lot of things, I gave up. And I went full money and got my heavy duty, nasty tools to pull them apart. AKA Mr. Wait for it, Mr. Channel Locks and Mr. Vice Grip. All I succeeded in doing was denting the tube, so I wouldn't recommend doing that if you're planning on keeping the thing. And after a few minutes, I just got nasty and yanked it apart. Now that it's apart, the next thing to do would be to check the feed point. And you can't take the feed point apart. There's one pin, and that pin is set in there on one side. So I gave up, said screw it. I'm going to use a pipe cutter to cut it loose. And I got it loose after multiple turns with Mr. Pipe Cutter. And the feed point will pop out. And when he does, you'll see the brass or copper fingers on the inside they're supposed to provide a ground path between the coax shield and the vertical. There you go. Now, there should be a resistance of continuity. There should be zero resistance. There should be continuity between that copper brass looking thingy and the coax. And it's open. So the question is, check the meter. Okay, meter's good. Check it again, it's still open. So where's the problem? Is the problem at the antenna connector end? Or is it at the radio connector end? And this is a check of the radio connector end. And you pull this apart, get some insulation going, do a quick measurement, and you'll find out that the problem is not here. The problem is not between the connector. It's not at the connector end, antenna connector. I mean the radio connector end. Because measuring these 2 points, checking the meter, going, okay, great, got a beep, and I got a beep, so that means that's good. The open of the ground, the coax ground, is at the antenna stud end. Somewhere in that mix of copper slash brass slash heat shrink, whatever, somebody jigged when they should have jagged, and it's just bad. I tried to disassemble it as best as possible, and I think I got a little frustrated and said screw it and just tossed it in the trash when I was done. So that's the gist of it. I hope you were mildly entertained and learned a lesson, and that is buy OEM. Just bite the bullet. If you need an antenna bracket, if you're going to do a ham radio project, great. Spend $23, tear it apart like I did, and do a ham radio project. Otherwise, just buy the OEM and be happy. That's all. Thanks.